What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 19 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Miao Ying Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Ji Song and her guns of the East or Eastern Fires Army, Eastern Fires Army had its debut battle against the Chaos Dwarfs. It was a pretty darn good one at that. They did manage to survive and are now booking it back towards Turtle Gate in order to prepare for the invasion or the Great Bastion attack, the Kurgan Warband attack, within the next 2 or 3 turns. And Shao will no longer be there to defend the gates, so the other armies, such as they are, will just have to deal as best they can. In the meantime, we got a bit of an annoyance as the Nurglites to the north of us, the Tide of Defilement, has finally decided to attack us and are moving southward with no army here to defend the place. A bit of a shame that, but well, we were always expecting that to eventually happen, and that's why we were always wanting to eventually destroy these guys and leave nothing but ruins in our wake. So that really hasn't changed in terms of our plans. Anyway, I do believe we got a lot potentially to do this turn. There is at least a couple of battles that we have to fight, and may even want to prepare for this, potentially. I mean, while we don't have anything crazy garrison-wise here, if we can get a decent lord, we might be able to actually defend the place. But anyway, let's do things in order, and then we'll get to it when we get to it. Actually, before we do start doing things in order, I guess we can move Miao Ying, but a couple of things. The votes for the next camp... Oh, is this an island? It is an island. Votes for the next campaign are up, or should be up by this point, in the community tab of the channel, so do cast your votes, make your voices heard and all that. And you're supposed to follow Miao Ying, yes. And, well, obviously for those, well... If you're unaware, the Lizardman campaign, the Nakai campaign, is up and running as well, so there is that. And one of the reasons that I decided to start this campaign, or start the Nakai campaign at this point, is partly because Stankia has ended, and partly because this campaign is starting to drop in terms of its engagement and all that, to some degree. Obviously nowhere near to the degree that we'd be ending the campaign, especially since there's a lot more fun stuff to do. We're, if not quite just getting started, we're still very much enjoying ourselves here, but do keep it in mind and keep up with the engagement and all that, as it will determine how long the campaign runs for, or it will eventually. But anyway, all that aside, just the way YouTube works, annoying, I know, but yeah. Anyway, I'm still having a blast here. Yuan Shanfu and Zhao Ming, I believe you're next on the menu, and... I want to take Darkhold. Can you take Darkhold and move to the Sentinels? You know what, actually, let's try to fight this manually. Or, I mean, it's a small battle, but it might be a decent little break from a major fight. You know what, maybe we'll fight this cinematically. Yeah, because if this army can win this fight, then we wouldn't have to immediately move up here, and then that'll save us a little bit of time. So, let's do it. Should be entertaining. Want to see how well those man-eaters with ogre pistols do when buffed up. And, oh! They still get magical... Huh. Well, that's really interesting. So, despite the fact that it counts as monstrous missile infantry, they still get the magical attacks from Cathay's Stalwart. So it actually registers them as melee infantry instead. Despite the fact that they're saying monstrous missile infantry. Maybe it just counts pistol units as melee units. But that's really nice, because it gives them both magical attacks, both in their melee attack and ranged attacks, and probably means they're the better choice over the Iron Guts. Especially with the buffs that Zhao Ming gives them. But anyway, let's give them a shot, or try, etc. Go.
I command the 8 winds themselves. We cannot possibly lose.
Alrighty, here we go. Ogre Man Pistols on field. These guys are pretty darn good, especially for sniping down single entities with the massive amount of missile strength and that they've got at 165. And they're going to start the battle off by annoying some of the enemy boar boys who are heading towards them. And they're going to have to go uphill, and that means chasing the man pistols all the way up there where our Jade Warriors are lined up and waiting to take the enemy charge. That said, it does look like the boar boys run a little bit faster than the pistols do, and thus we're going to have to stop the charge of the ogres. Going to charge on in with our dragon-blooded Shogun. Going to stop their charge and then back away. And this should allow us to just reach where we need to go behind the Jade Warriors there. And even though they're sword and board and not halberds, I don't think the boar boys are going to easily get through them. So I'm now thinking that with the physical resistance on these guys, it might also potentially work to put some of the ogre mercenaries in the planned army that was going to be the single entities, as in the hero army. Throw in a few ogre units there as well. I assume you can combine mercenaries and the non-mercenary ogres. Like if we were to build, I think the max is 3 mercenary units, and then put 4 ogre units in there, and then fill the rest up with 13 units of 13 units of single entity heroes. That might be that army, and it would be quicker than just trying to find the perfect traits for all those heroes, because it's been taking a while, I admit. Though, of course, we do have other armies as priority, and it's a gimmick sort of army. I just think it'll look cool. Anyway, looks like the boar boys have reached us, but are having a little bit of a tough time, as the dragon-blooded Shogun and the ogre man pistols alike have stopped them in their tracks, using their mass to prevent the boar boys from charging through. And it looks like one of the boar boy units is out, the second one is out as well, and here come the pile of the regular orc boys, and just generally speaking, their infantry. Nice to have these little skirmish battles on occasion. This is why I was so enjoying the battles against the caravan, or with the caravans as well. I love all the sparks coming in from the enemy arrows when they hit the armor of the Jade Warriors there. Anyway, big old blob of orcs still being held back, taking a little bit of damage on some of our Jade Warriors, but this is what we were waiting for. The enemy is blobbed up in a perfect line, which is the perfect moment to get a wall of wind and fire going, all of course while the ogres continue firing their pistols into the blob. Though, of course, their pistols will be very, very dangerous to our own units, at the very least, with the boar boys towering over the Jade Warriors, and it looks like they're doing quite well. And there we go, the wall of wind and fire clears out most of the enemy infantry. In fact, they all are forced to back off, and that means we can start charging our way down this hill, and the battle is more or less ours. I don't think the enemy can pull this off anymore. They fell right into our trap, and ooh, looks like a gaze of Mork comes in, but by and large only does a tiny bit of damage to our alchemist as the ogres charge. Gotta love that speed on him. And there we go. Those poor Night Goblin archers are now either forced to engage them in melee or get run down. Not that it matters over much, as the battle is... Well, the balance power isn't actually all that much in our favor. But out here, for example, we have the enemy hero, the Black Orc Big Boss, who's getting absolutely obliterated. He's being kept in place by our dragon-blooded Shogun, while the pistol fire from the Ogre Man pistols brings him down. Like so. And all we have to do is back up, get a few more volleys in there, and the Black Orc Big Boss will be torn to shreds. Alright, and with the fall of his hero, only the enemy Savage or Great Shaman remains. Surprisingly, none of the other units are back yet, but, well, maybe they will attempt to return. Ooh, those poor Night Gabos. Just a snack for the ogres. I wonder how ogres feel about eating greenskins. Do they have a nice mushroomy taste and texture to them? And if the ogres prefer meat, do they then not like eating greenskins? I mean, I suppose they generally don't like the taste of nobblers, so I mean, they might not like the taste of goblins either, or just generally orcs. Though their size might also have at least something to do with that. Anyway, there we go. With that, I believe the enemy lord has shattered, the enemy army has shattered in the battle's hours. One more hit, and the enemy shaman will go down among the Jade Warriors. I want to see that death animation if the game lets us see it. Come on, somebody, please. There we go. The little leap was unnecessary, but you gotta make your death dramatic, so good job, Orc. Heroic victory for us. Lovely. Alright, there we go. No problem at all, in fact. Got about 50,000 damage between our two casters, and the tide of orcs were held back by the Jade Warriors, and plenty of damage and great work from our Ogre Man Pistols. I'm gonna have to name one of them Ogre Man Pistols again, because I always call them that nowadays. Anyway, occupy the place? Yeah, I was wondering whether we should loot and occupy, but frankly there's not enough of a difference. A and B will be trading it away to Imric anyway, so it hardly matters. Although, picking up a place where there's marble, just want to double check what the trade agreements say right now. Masters of Innovation are willing to trade, but they're probably going to be dead shortly. In fact, Malachi appears to be abandoning his last territory. Yeah, I think he's dead. And sadly nobody else wants to trade. We could probably make something happen with one of these factions, though it also doesn't really matter that much. Anyway, military alliance of the Golden Order? Probably soon, but not yet. Very much getting there. And what about the Ice Court? Can they draw us into an annoying war that would be hurtful to our caravans? The big issue, I feel, is Sylvania. They're kind of in the way of a lot of the caravans that we send. Granted, if we complete the Darklands, and we should be able to set the road up to the Silver Road and constantly move to at least Korazakarak, but we do want essentially a few safe places for our caravans to travel to without being at war. And the Darklands are kind of a problem in that regard, and the fact that Astrogoth is likely to be fighting the Ice Court, so I think we'll leave them alone for now, unfortunate as that may seem, and it's just kind of disadvantageous to us. Anyway, Jiao Ming, you can head to Darkhold, and oh wow, you will still have a lot of movement range remaining. Alright, fine. Yuan Shanfu, you're gonna head there, Jiao Ming, you're gonna reinforce, and then we'll move back up this way. Yeah, close to feet, we'll see about that. I don't think so. Like so, and not so close, and not so defeat no more. Still heavy damage to our units, but that's always happening. And we got another Mosh Shard as well. Anyway, we will occupy the place, and that completes the province. Not that we're looking to keep it, but hold on to it for now. Yuan Shanfu, lose this in case you die, and we'll probably give that to somebody else. Alright, and Jiao Ming. Yeah, by the looks of it, there are no Skaven armies to capitalize on any of this, so just keep moving towards the Sentinels. You gotta take these man-eaters with Ogre pistols, Ogre man pistols anyway. Like so. Alrighty, though I hate to see Jiao Ming away from our own territories with that plus 20% that he gives in terms of... Ooh, max out on yielding now. Plus 20% that he gives in terms of reduction of... an extension of building costs. Anyway, you alchemist, let's get you enchanted metallurgy piercing, I think. And just as much damage as possible. Generally speaking. Especially since Jiao Ming already has the poisoned variant. Yeah, let's do that. And we should probably still get Earthing, as we do like to overcast both Gehennas and Plague of Rust whenever possible, or at least when Jiao Ming isn't casting. Anyway, who's up next? Zhu Zhao, I don't remember. Oh, right. You're waiting for, I think, one more turn until you're ready to move on and kill these guys. It is giving them a chance to recruit and thus probably defend harder, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, in my view. Ning Wei, as we learned last episode, you can't take a Yeti Peak because of the heavier defenses, at least until you have a full stack, so just stick around, keep raiding, but stay near to our friendly territory if you need to run away. You and Shao, you're hitting the Volary next, unless I'm mistaken. Which actually has some sack value, which ain't too bad. Close victory, low casualties, we could, but we are in red territory, and I think we actually probably will want to fight this. A, to reduce casualties, and B, I do kind of want to see how the terracotta automatons do going over the walls. So let's level up. Satang's waiting for level 12, but the others can... I only got 1 point. Kind of mad about that, but anyway, increased mobility for you, you and Shao. You have the Art of War. We don't have the Will of Dragons, however, I think we want to move towards Grand Tactician first, even though I don't like the fact that it is a smaller effect range, but at least it stacks with the other version. Out of these, I'm going to say keep spamming Inspired Marksmanship first, just because I like the idea of just spamming buffs on Satang. You guys... We have the weapon strength thing maxed out. We got 1 point in hero. We don't really need the experience gain for units anymore. And I don't actually know whether that applies to heroes as well. I mean, it could make you hit a little bit harder, but frankly, you're kind of a defensive unit here. Armor piercing weapon damage when defending +3 is fairly considerable as well. I mean, maybe we'll want to go through this. And just in order to, well, we don't really care about Retinue Trainer, but on occasion this army might actually get surrounded and have to defend, so why not? Alright, and then all of you are at the same level, meaning that you all probably have the same, you know, points applied. Anyway, let's do the Volary fight. Ooh, the Chaos Warriors with great weapons are going to be annoying up on those walls, and sadly the automatons don't have perfect vigor, even though I feel like they kind of should, maybe, but anyway, go.
Only fools! Selfish, cowardly fools! Cathay's resolve shall overcome!
Alright, I mean, I don't deny that we face selfish, cowardly fools. I'm just curious as to why in particular, what basis our Lord has to say that the enemy is, and the enemy army is full of selfish, cowardly fools. Ow, artillery, how cowardly, damn you. Some Deathstreak rockets come down on our terracotta automatons and deal a bit of damage to them, though with the Bastion of the Great Cities up from our drum, we're at 63 armor, plus 60% spell resistance, which is pretty darn good. And 45% missile resistance as well. It doesn't help us over much against the enemy bound abilities, as when a unit of terracotta automatons eats a few rockets from the sky, and we're immediately going to pop restore on them, as they've got work to do up on top of the walls. I want to see how effective the terracotta automatons are at taking the enemy walls by storm. In the meantime, Satang still has work to do, and that is in the form of bringing down the enemy towers that are firing upon us, and if necessary, maybe even bringing down a few of the enemy single entities. The Lamasu, as I see, foolishly hovering up above, and that means a target for Satang to focus. And there we go, and he's sighted the Lamasu, and by the looks of it, can indeed hit the Lamasu up on top of the walls. I'm a little bit concerned that the terracotta automatons may be sent flying, but it's probably better than leaving it up here, as the Lamasu can also send the automatons flying off the wall. There we go. Actually, nice hit. Just at the very top of the head of the Lamasu and not hitting any of the warriors. Or automatons, rather. Including the terracotta warriors. Yeah, I see it hitting them or sort of bouncing them around, which ain't so great. And there we go. Another one flies off the wall. Yeah, we need this thing dead. We need it dead immediately. Fortunately, Satang should be quite good at this, and a couple more hits will see the Lamasu off by the looks of it. He does hit pretty hard, unfortunately, and I was surprised to learn this. The ability that he's got, the Enchanted Metallurgy Piercing that he can use, can't target himself. It can only target allies, which is unfortunate, because otherwise he'd be able to buff himself up with a decent bit of range damage. Go figure. Bit of a shame, but oh well. Anyway, one more hit and the Lamasu will be shattered and down to 36 HP. Gonna take one more arrow, looks like. The rest of our automatons are very much making their way up on top of the walls and in the middle of the fight against the Chaos Dwarf Warriors and regular Chaos Warriors alike. Lamasu is down, the gate is broken, and our Jet Lions and Terracotta Sentinels are making their way through the gate. It looks like they are getting staggered back a little bit by the fire from all those enemy blunderbusses, or having a difficult time working their way around all those lions, but fortunately the blunderbusses are going to take a long time to bring down the terracotta sentinels. More and more automatons have made their way up on top of the walls now, and though the armor piercing of the great weapons of the Chaos Warriors is, I'm sure, quite threatening, They are slowly but surely being brought down. We're up to 84 melee attack if given the inspired assault buff. And without it, 64 melee attack. They're still relatively light on melee attack, but that's okay. It's not horrible. And that's with all the buffs around them, including Brass Cleaver and all that. It may be time to switch out of the Bastion of the Great Cities and give them more attack instead. But still, I like this little fight up here. It's pretty nice. And at least the Chaos Dwarf Warriors with Sword and Board have a relative lack of armor piercing, which is going to be a little tough for them. In the meantime, speaking of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, our Sentinels have peeled away. One going for the enemy Sorcerer Prophet here, I believe another going for an enemy Overseer, and the last going for the enemy Iron Demon. All the single entities will be hunted down and destroyed by the Sentinels. And on the non-single entities will be mobbed and destroyed by our automatons. Alright, there's a flying sentinel right there. Well, okay, I guess Satang is a flying sentinel, but you know what I mean. Anyway, looks like the wall is nearly cleared as the enemy piles of Chaos Warriors have been corralled into one little blob, and that means ripe for getting hit with a nice searing doom upon them, which will, by the looks of it, pretty much clear them out. Still, very nice job to the automatons for clearing the walls. The ability to restore them came in real handy. The jet lines have also moved down and have destroyed, by and large, the enemy Death Shrieker rockets, which were annoying us for pretty much the entire battle, and they'd managed to rack up 11,000 damage. So good for them. Satang has finally arrived through the open gate, though it looks like he's not going to be needed all that much anymore, as the enemy army will shatter with only one unit remaining on field, and the battle is ours. Very nice. Sort of won that two ways, both on top of the walls and through the gate, so I'm pretty darn happy with that. All right, a pretty fun fight. I was very happy seeing the units of Terracotta automatons fight up on the walls, and at 19k damage, the Immovable Legion have certainly hacked their way through many a Chaos Warrior. Well done, or Chaos Warrior and Chaos Dwarf Warrior, since they were both there. Lovely. We are going to sack the place, I guess, since it's actually worth some sacking, and hopefully we can move back to occupy it immediately and then abandon it next turn. So sack and someone. Okay, good. And then we killed in battle another Forbidden Rod. Very nice. And then we'll occupy the place. Heal up here very, very slightly and then abandon it next turn. Moving on to Crystal Spires, and afterwards... Ooh, hello. Kolek is here. That's who we're after. Who has currently just the one province. Alright, well that works for us. We need to wipe him out and get that short victory. Let's also demolish this building to get some of the free cash for ourselves. You have also leveled up, but Satang is still not level 12, so he'll continue saving his points. You, however, can now have Grand Tactician. Nice. And since we reached rank 7, we should probably now ignore Harmonious Doctrine, nice though it is, and then move instead towards trying to get Unified Charge. And because we are, by and large, rank 7 on everybody in this army. They have ranked up quite a lot. Go them. Anyway, let's see who's after Enshao this turn. Yanbo. Alright, so what are we doing here? First of all, the seagoing army. Okay, well, I sort of swapped some units out. Yanbo's kind of waiting around still, though most likely, since Mazdamundi decided to be a jerkface and betray us, we're going to have to deal with him. We will, however, still have the admirals going around, just trying to get that one materials at sea. It only takes one. You can have... I don't know, sunken chest, doesn't really matter. Max sealed rations, alright, they'll save us a little bit of cash, not much of it, but enough. And then you can, I guess, go up here for this island. And then either go southward, though, let's say I see one island there. I mean, there's gotta be at least a few islands here, so yeah. We want at least 2 admiral, probably 3 or 4 admiral armies moving around and just grabbing those islands. With just Jade Warriors in them, they're pretty cheap at 2.6k. A little bit more expensive than I'd like, mind you, but still not so expensive that it, you know, bothers us. Yeah, you stay there for the next turn, and I believe we're good. Alright, so... the other things that we have to do are probably prepare for this attack. Now... how realistic is this? Well, I don't know how realistic it is, but I do know that I want to try, so it is what it is. Let's get you, Lanhu. You're steadfast. We're probably never going to be used again because the upkeep reduction for peasants is just too minimal to be worth it. It's a little bit of a weird trait. I still feel like it should be minus 50%, because they're already so cheap that she should essentially get them for free instead. But what she is a level 10 lord with the ability to cast fire spells, and that should still be quite useful against the Nurglites in particular. So we're going to get you Earthblood, Dragon Breath, and we want to max out Wall of Wind and Fire. Probably want to grab Will of the Dragons, and... we could probably do Inspiring Presence for the character or a Leadership. We should probably get Hard to Hit for the +5. Let's get Strength of Yang. You should have a basic version of the Jade Shield already, and then I guess the last point into Dragon's Breath. Most likely to be casting it. Stone Ground Stance, probably not worth it. I don't know, I'd rather dish out damage, and it's not like it's going to help us a crazy amount. Although the Mass might help us against a charge, potentially. I still feel like we're probably better off repeatedly casting Dragon's Breath. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, and in that light... yeah, if we can clear out the Plague Bearers, the Plague Toads shouldn't be too much of an issue. Here's what we can do. We have a bunch of items that we were saving for the Fire Army, namely the Luminarch Lens, the... Star Metal Plate, go for it. Star Metal Plate, Experimental Explosive, that actually doesn't really help in this army, does it? Not really. You can get... Crackle Blaze versus Luminarch Lens. Let's get for the Luminarch Lens. Let's get you Crystal of Kunlun, which also does fire damage. Spirit Shielan Spear does... maybe not. Maybe the Silver Moonbow, just for a little bit of extra damage. Let's do that. And then casting item, I'm not so sure that I care enough to bother with one. What does this do? That's pretty good. Alright, okay, now... that's a big investment. Okay, you better not die. Oh, I would be so sad. Anyway, Standard of Wei Jin. And, okay, well, actually...
from my ancestors.
okay, here's what we'll do. The thing is that we've already invested, like, a fair bit in the buildings here. And I really don't want to lose them, so I guess we'll just temporarily get these 2 units. I don't want to go with the Green Guardians, that's a little bit too much. And the Long Marauders, oh, I know, give the Long Marauders the, where are we here? The Banner of Eternal Flame. Combine that with the weakness to fire damage from the Luminarch Lens, that should be a pretty darn nasty unit of Righteous Lances. Alright, and then we need one more. So we have the Standard of Wei Jin. Scarecrow Banner probably wouldn't help us too much. Gleaming Pennant, maybe? Let's get this Ring Cloud Prayer for, like, now. Well... just do it. Just do it. I'm too lazy to look for others. Anyway, you're gonna attack. Let's see if Lanhu survives. If we lose those items, I'm just gonna, you know, curl up in the fetal position and cry. Otherwise, we are good to go minus the building. At least I assume we are. Alright, let's take a look at what we got building-wise. Anything that makes us money, as usual. Okay, here we go. We got a Goods Emporium here. Great Hall of Garisi. Wait, we got 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we got 6, we're fine. Let's upgrade the Administration Center. We'll ignore this, by and large, and then keep looking for money-making things. We are okay here. Any tier ups? Okay, oh. Right, we canceled this. Just start building it back up, screw it. And I'm just gonna assume that we won't need defenses here, go for the Spice Market. I think we'll be okay. I trust in our randomly summoned lord. Anyway, let's see. Any other markets? There we go. More markets everywhere all the time, and the administration centers as well. Ooh, wait. This can be upgraded to oh wow, that's gonna take a while. Oh, it's because it's in Doomcrag. You know what? Do the iron smelter because we want the trade goods, but otherwise just build the 2 admin centers. It's still +2 production faction wide, and build a goods emporium. All right, I think that's good enough money wise. Skip, and here not moved in compass direction available. Damage building ignored. Your recruitment is still okay. We need to swap some units around, but the Administrator Cheng is coming back, so that's fine. And we'll probably need another logistics army around here, and everybody else. The heroes that are going to join Yuan Bo's army are coming in. Everybody's here. Good. End turn. Let's see what happens. Probably should have put the camera where Yuan Bo is. Or not where Yuan Bo is, where Lan Hu is, where the new little quote-unquote army is going to defend against the Nurglites. Alright. Oh, Malachi survived. I didn't do that trade agreement with him because I assumed that he... Oh, never, I spoke too soon. For a second I thought he'd survive. What do you want? Defensive lines? No. Oh, there's no need for that. Although, you know what we should check? Okay, what do we have here? Caravan encounter, a quicker way. For 500 gold, we can take the quicker way. Yeah, sure, go for it. Save the turn. Settlement besieged. They besieged it rather than attacking it. You little cowards. You cowardly little jerks. For the love of... I can't believe this. This is nothing, and then they still won't fight it. Oh, AI. Hey, Great Celestial Banner, though. Nice. Character experience gain plus 25%. That'll be nice. Great Bastion attack is imminent. And... we've got the Grace of Shen Yang, and now Yin Healing was what we wanted to go through. It'll take 13 turns, which is a fair distance away. But it is what it is.
For the defense effort.
I'm so annoyed by this, you guys don't even know. What I wanted to check was this. Have we identified these guys? Oh, we have identified these guys. Oh. I wonder how long. I really should have checked that earlier. It's a Tzeentchen faction. Do non-Kairos Tzeentchen factions have those Tzeentch abilities? I feel like they do. I feel like I remember one of the other Tzeentchen factions doing something. Maybe they don't have all the same ones as Kairos does. I don't know. Here's what I do know. We should probably now confederate these guys. I mean, we might as well, I guess. A, see what's going on down here. B, these armies became tied up for much longer than I was originally anticipating that they'd be tied up for, so I guess we kind of are stuck at it. Alright, let's... Oh, here's what we'll do. Defensive alliance for all your money. Then a military alliance for the rest of your money. And then Confederation. Alright, and then we suddenly have a presence on that island. Why not? Province secured, good, and we will immediately put you into Jade Dragon Seed. Oh, it's a military province. Oh, that's nice. Well, we can build up immediately. And we have armies here as well. Well, ish. Army enough for our purposes. You have Hardened Jadeite, which isn't too bad, and you have Aggressive Strategist, which... Oh, I hadn't seen this one. Speed plus 10 and melee attack plus 4. It's pretty solid. Might actually use you for another army. Obviously, the melee defense has a higher value, but that one also has speed, which is quite nice. You are going to go into the settlement. You are going to sit here, and probably will use you to recruit. Actually, I just realized something, and we should also probably do is declare war on these guys. Because if they can trade settlements, and I don't know that they can, but if they can, they... I believe can't do it if you're at war with them, right? Let's give it a shot. Join war against these guys for 1,000 gold. Besides, we have the army there, and since this confederated province is quite defensive, I don't think these guys are going to be able to take it. Who's this? Oh, look at that. These guys are moving up here. Nice. They're doing a good job. And oh, they pieced out with these guys. Oh, it's a unit. It's a Tomb King faction, but they're holding territory we want. I guess it's an opportunity to fight some Tomb Kings. I was kind of hoping to ally with them for the constructs, but we have other Tomb Kings for that particular purpose. Heaven's Interpreter, I want you down at the Isle of the Monkey King, and Miao Ying, I want you to grab this island while you're here. And approach a carcass, and auto resolve. This is gonna hurt, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that is what it is. You know what? Heal up, I guess. I'd rather have the money, but since we're not healing here, and the region's in storm as well. And oh, it was a good idea to come down here. Perfect vigor and campaign movement range. We were never far away enough. Got an alchemist elixir of iron skin, which is okay. Probably better in certain armies, but anyway. I guess you will want to leave the storm region. Oh, you're not actually taking attrition here. Wait, are we immune to hurricane attrition for some reason? Interesting. Well, either way, I guess we're coming down here at least for now. Who knows, there's probably other islands on the way. And is this an island? No, that's just a pathway. Maybe Miao Ying is specifically... Oh, there's another island. Alright, fair enough. Maybe Miao Ying is specifically immune? Attrition minus 25%. Maybe she has enough minus attrition stuff to be immune to... Oh, you know what? I don't even care. As long as she's immune, I'm happy. Alright. Which maybe... Yeah, well, we'll see what's down here. It says corn corrupted, so it might be something fun to fight. And just because we can. Anyway, let's go from the top, shall we? Tanji Chen, you're fine where you are. Yuan Shanfu, you and Jiao Ming are moving northward, and... Oh, wow, you need to heal. You really... Okay, wait. You need to actually go to enemy territory in order to heal. If you go here... I can't do that. Alright, well, that's the best you can do right now, so go up here. We'll go for the Tower of Gorgoth. Yuan Shanfu, you're gonna follow. And then we will start by... Oh, actually, I know. By trading this to Imric, we'll probably be healing more. Wait. So you, first of all, will start by moving here. And I should have put you... Okay, wait. Put you into encamp stance. Then, traded. We will give the 2 man-eaters with ogre pistols and the alchemist to you. I was going to take one of the drums away and put it in another army, but then what else would we remove? Alright, we have 2 more Jade Warriors than needed, and in theory the Iron Guts could be replaced, but once again, I kind of like them in this army. Same with the Fire Rain Rockets. Alright, I'll lose one of the drums for now. Oh wait, that won't work. Alright, fine, I'll lose... Ugh, I just realized we should probably check which one of these guys has the highest rank, so... 2,000 for the next rank, 4,000 for the next rank, and... Yeah, I guess it's these two. 6,000... Oh. 6,000 for the next rank, so 2,000 and 3,000. We'll take these two. And then I'll think about whether that's too few, because then this will leave us with 5 Celestial Dragon Guard, although I also don't want to go too heavy on the Celestial Dragon Guard, even if they are... gonna be jamming unit here. Anyway, what we want to do now is this. We're going to trade the Black Fortress to Imric for good stuff. We will ask for... Let's just go straight into Defensive Alliance, as well as military access. And we could take his money. Here's the thing. If we take all his money, he'll become weak. And if he becomes weak, he won't be able to defend the Darklands for us. And we want him as a buffer between everybody here, basically. So I guess we'll leave him his money. It's irksome, tremendously so, but it is what it is. We want him to join war against... I'm gonna say Grimgor. Who else? Tide of Defilement, Heralds of the Tempest... Oh, you know what? I should have military act. I should have had everybody join, but anyway. Servants of the Conclave. What we really want is... Okay, damn, okay. I'm gonna redo this one sec, guys. It's important. We need to see who you're at war with. War Host of Jar, Grimgor Zard Boys, Tide of Defilement, and... Oh! The Kuj, I just got an idea. I can't finish a single action. What if we... peace out with them? Meaning, this army will have to attack us alone. a little bit annoying, but peace out with them. They have no territory, and even if they start getting some of those territories back, it's not a big deal. And then this little army is alone, and much more manageable, I'd wager. But anyway, back to Mr. Greasy. Currently at war with the Warhost of Jar, Grimgor's Ard Boys, and the Tide of Defilement. He's not going to be happy about the Couge thing, but whatever. Then we will once again go to Trade Emmerich. Black Fortress for military access, defensive alliance, join war against Warhost of Jar, Warhost of Jar, Grimgor's Ard Boys, and Tide of Defilement. I might as well do Heralds of the Tempest as well. Do we need to do Servants of the Conclave? You know what? No, that's a bad idea, because then if he moves armies up here, it's going to be a problem. USAC and stuff probably can ignore it. Let's do that, and he's willing. He's really willing. No, leave him as money. Damn it. It just bothers me. Alright, let's do that. Alright, there you go, Emmerich, and he should be pretty happy with this. He also provide us a vision of the Darklands, which is worthy, well, worthwhile in and of itself. Anyway, the Sentinels is the thing that we want to trade to him. Again, just have it. And with him taking control of this, we should be healing more in this territory, should we not? Actually, didn't check. I'm just gonna say I hope that you are. Alrighty, Actually, just realized we now no longer have room for... Well, I suppose if we remove the drum, we can put the... put one more Great Long Marauder in here, and that'll more or less complete the army, unless we want to get rid of the Iron Guts. And frankly, judging by the fact that you power up the Man-Eaters with Ogre Pistols fairly significantly, their armor-piercing weapon damage at 94 is actually more than the 74 of the Iron Guts. So they hit harder in melee, plus they have that fire. I'll think about it. Either way, you're good where you are. Now, let's get back to doing things in order after the million distractions. Ooh, wait a moment. Another thing. Golden Order. Where are the Ironsides? 42, eh? I wonder if we could, by declaring war on these guys... No, we should... Okay, no, we'll ignore that for now. Ignore it for now. Kanji-chan will ignore you. Zhujiao, it's time for you to fight once more, and you're going for the 9 graves here. 2,000 to sack it. That will most likely just raise it, and it's a tier 5. I don't imagine it has walls. We shouldn't occupy it, but it'll mean we'll take attrition here, but it is what it is. We have to deal with them. Move to this side so that you start moving out this way, because we still have to now bounce between all of these territories, since you have to deal with all of this. Since the other army has to be dealing with the Nurglites now. Gatemaster. I guess we'll go for Bastion's Defenders here, though. The Retinue Physician. It might actually be the more critical thing. Alright, fine. We will ignore Retinue Valet, though we really want that as well. We'll start going through Retinue Quartermaster. I guess on both of you? Yeah, start going through Retinue Quartermaster. We need to get to Retinue Physician. Get all the Retinue stuff. And then Alchemist, you are going to pick up Evasion. Like so. Gehenna's Golden Hounds is maxed out. Everybody else is fine. Let's see what we can do. 9 graves, away you go. The Mammoth's gonna be an issue. Go.
They are divided and selfish, but we fight as one body, one soul.
The other battle, the magistrate also called the enemy army selfish and something else. Here, the Dragonblood Shurigans are divided and selfish, and the other one, something else and selfish. But interesting. I mean, they're worshippers of the Chaos Gods, so yes, but still interesting. Anyway, here we go. I think this should be a pretty darn tough battle. The enemy army outnumbers us, having, what, a stack and a half between the garrison and the army within said garrison, and we can't really take advantage of all the mobility we have on our Jade Lancers due to the the fact that, well, it's a minor settlement battle, and we can't really maneuver. Looks like the enemy is also going to be hitting us with Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, and I note that the Jade Warriors have no spell resistance, surprisingly. Wonder if there are any traits that will give them a little bit, because if a single use of the Melkoths hits about 30% of the HP on a unit of Jade whatevers, that's not great. That is not great at all, because the enemy probably has enough to keep casting this throughout the course of the battle, and it only costs 7 mana, and just this one Fimir Lord alone will probably be able to knock out a few units this way. And the cooldown is pretty short by the looks of it, as another Jade Warrior unit gets hit with another of those Melkoths. Alright, does look like the enemy Mammoth charges through, however, and is ready to join battle. Our Dragon-Blooded Shogun is a little bit busy right now, knocking down the enemy tower, so we're going to have to contend with the Jade Warriors with halberds, as well as our Gate Master to hold the enemy Mammoth back until our Dragon-Blooded Shogun is ready to join the fray. I believe she's now taken the tower out and is going to stop on by briefly to deal with an enemy Manticore, which, like the Mammoth, has dropped down upon our forces below, and is about to get joined by a second Manticore as well. You gotta love the barding on the horses, even for the irregular horses on the Gate Masters. The Gate Masters generally just look pretty darn awesome. Anyway, Manticore is down to about half of its HP and is in Rampage, and frankly, the Feral Mammoth isn't having a great time either. Dragon-Blooded Shogun has now joined, and once again, another Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma hits those Jade Warriors. Mammoth is pretty much done broken, routing, etc., and will get brought down rather shortly, but it is joined by more units as trolls made their way through, and oh, there's the enemy Fimir. When I was playing this, I couldn't spot the enemy Fimir, and kept wondering where those Melkoths came from, but she was right here all along, rather than... I thought that she was hiding somewhere out here. Damn me. Okay, well, that was definitely a mistake on my part. I definitely should have prioritized bringing the Mir down, as I'm willing to bet most of the enemy damage that isn't from the enemy range units is going to be coming in from the Melkoths. Anyway, over in the back lines, we're going to try our best to get at least some mileage out of our Jade Lancers. I'm going to charge on into one unit of Marauder Hunters with Javelins. So I gotta point out this. The Jade Lancers that hit them first, when they were fighting one-on-one, took about the same amount of damage as the Marauder Hunters Javelins did as well. And these Jade Lancers clearly can't fight them one-on-one without significantly more buffs. And if they stick around like this, they're gonna take some Javelins to the back, and that ain't great, as a single volley takes about 25% of their HP off. As I've said before, Marauder Hunters Javelins are very much not to be underestimated, a very scary unit, in particular against large units like this, and oh, very, very nice volley. These Jade Lancers are pretty much done, and while they will get a charge, they're going to have to back off, unless they get obliterated. We are still trying to make our way through the enemy choke points. More trolls have arrived, being backed up by Berserkers now, and once again facing off against just the basic Jade Warriors, but this is our Jade Warrior army, and they have to earn their keep. We'll see how strong they get when we max them out. I'm still very much invested in this army to see the degree to which the Jade Warriors can be workable. Damn, the spell resistance is very much needed, though. Look at these guys. The Melkoths is absolutely obliterating them. Is the Mirk still there? Oh no, the Mirk's not there anymore. Okay, so now where did she go? Maybe this is the point where I was looking for the Mirk and then lost her. Huh. She's gonna be stuck beneath the barricade. I don't see the Lord icon anywhere, but I just saw Melkoths. Unless she routed or is dead, but then where'd the Melkoths come from? But anyway. We'll see. We'll see if another one drops, because, yeah, this was the issue when I was playing it. Anyway, continue on. No, I don't see the Mirk here. I do see that one of our Jade Lancers is routing and several of our units are hurt, but we've made our way into the enemy settlement now. And I think we're going to have to back the Jade Phalanx off, as they've taken severe damage. Our Lord here is now trying to find other enemies to fight and is tying up some Norse controls. Actually, the idea was to chase them down and make sure that they would shatter. rather than just routing, but it does look like she can bring them down herself. This is our fightiest dragon-blooded Shigangun after all, 75, 71, 756 on melee attack, defense, and weapon strength, breaking through those Norse controls and leaving a pile of corpses in her wake. The other Jade Lancers, the ones that are relatively unhurt, are about to join the fray as well. They've been sort of riding around, finding the opportune moment to strike, hopefully without getting a few volleys to the back-end face by the other units of enemy Marauder Hunters with javelins, which is working out somewhat well. And while our Dragon-Blooded Shogun ties up another one, we'll try to bring him down. There we go. Alright, this is definitely turning into a fight where we're having to work for our victory. Absolutely the case here. Severely damaged, and in fact, even 6 minutes in, the balance of power still remains in the enemy's favor. Our melee troops are now sort of moving in a blob, as there isn't enough of a critical mass of units there to sort of spread out into two distinct blobs. And here come the Marauder Hunters with javelins, getting those volleys out again. We're going to have to clear these guys out as best we can, possibly, ideally, including the Marauder champions here. Fortunately, we do have an answer to them, and that's another wall of wind and fire. It'll clip the Marauder champions, it'll clip the Warhounds, and then it'll hopefully move through this choke point right through the lines of enemy Marauder Hunters and Marauder Horsemen with javelins, so that we can hopefully take at least a few less volleys. There we go. Marauder Hunters with javelins are done. I believe the Norscan Warhounds are out of there, but the Marauder champions have moved in, and we're definitely going to need the Dragon-Blooded Shogun Lord to sort of see them off. As I don't think the Jade Lancers are going to win against them all one-on-one, especially against the Sword and Board variant, and especially because once again, the Jade Lancers are just classic shock cav, and they're really reliant on actually getting charges in to do damage, which they're really having a tough time doing in this particular settlement. Alright, we're going to back him off and charge right by the enemy Marauder Chieftain, not the Mirg. Okay, I guess maybe the Mirg is gone now. And charge into the Marauder Hunters with javelins back here, who are attempting to back away from our other Jade Warriors. The fight is still on, and this time the balance of power has finally shifted in our favor to about 65%. And just got to catch the rest of those enemy missile troops and make sure that they can no longer fight, while our Lord will soon go after the enemy Marauder Chieftain. Oh, there is another Marauder Hunter unit out here. We're going to cast the Gehenna's Golden Hounds right on top of them. We really need the spells to clear them out. Last time we fought these Norskans was in the field, and we were able to use our Jade Lancers to charge all the Marauder Hunters from various directions and thereby destroy them, but clearly that wasn't really possible here. Alright, and I do believe the bounce power has finally shifted fully in our favor. One last transmutation of lead screwing over the last pile of units that was fighting, and though it took the last drops of our blood, we did manage to wipe these guys out. Definitely the toughest battle for the Jade Warrior army so far. Once again, the maneuverability of the cav not being present was the big issue here. Once we get 2 more Gate Masters in the army, and of course once we actually get traits to buff everybody up, it'll be hopefully different. We'll see. We've got plenty more for this army to do and try out. Go. Ooh, alright, a nice fight. We certainly had to work through that when we took a ton of damage as well. 15k from that darn Fimir Lord who I just wasn't able to find on the map. I guess they have stuck or whatever. Fortunately, we did quite a bit more damage with those walls of wind and fire, as Zhu Zhao managed to rack up 80,000 damage, 374 kills. The enemy Marauder Hunters were quite dangerous, as they were nearly able to obliterate 2 of our units of Jade Lancers, so good for them. And otherwise, it looks like a couple of the units of Jade Warriors with the mean green taking the prize for the most damage done. Lovely. Alright. We will... I mean, we could sack and occupy, which would allow us to not take a turn of attrition, but decent likelihood we get the plague doing it. It'd still be worth it this time, though. Although, Just loot and occupy. I no longer remember whether we had enough movement range to actually get away from here, so yeah, let's do that. Don't bother collecting the income just because we might suffer attrition. Then I guess we're heading down here. Alright, you already have the plague and you will continue moving. I mean, I guess move... be faster to go like this? Well, if we want to reach Woe Camp, we certainly wouldn't be fast enough to reach here anyway, so let's do this while you move this way and suffer attrition like everybody else. Plus, at least this way we might not transfer the plague here, which is decent, if nothing else. You're fine. Let's see, you've leveled up again. You have Unyielding maxed out and Mighty Charge and Blades of the Bastion, so let's get you Stand Your Ground. We'll get you Unified Charge as well afterwards for our Cav, though they're not rank 7, and frankly a lot of our Jade Warriors aren't rank 7 either yet. But they are starting to get pretty up there. You just need these guys, the Gate Masters, to all actually level up. I guess another point into Retinue Quartermaster. We'll still get Retinue Valet, it's just right now we really don't want to be taking damage from attrition. We're in a dangerous position there after all. Anyway, Administrator, you are good, or at least this particular Administrator is. You guys, okay. Nah, still should do things in order. So Administrator Chang, you're going to go back here. You're probably going to have to swap some units around. I have to try to remember which units need to go where at this point. Definitely take one of the Jade Lions, 2 of the Jet Lions, and both of the Great Moonbirds, as those are not going to Jiao Ming. So take that, like so. No. Celestial Lion, 1 Jade Lion, 2 Jet Lions are going to Jiao Ming. The rest of this is going to Jiao Ming. The Celestial Defender with the increased numbers of Restore is going to Jiao Ming. You'll also need a drum, though I fear you can't build it here, and we might be better off sending you here to build the drum from Turtle Gate, assuming we can't build it here somewhere, which we, by the looks of it, cannot. But fair enough. You're going to go here then. Or, wait... I guess the question is... Oh, you're stuck in March stance anyway. Well, that's just... annoying. How much expense? 4 turns to build the drum? Okay, that's probably not the best way to do it. Fair enough. Oh, we can build the Jet Lions in only 1 turn. We do need 2 more. Alright, let's build 2 more here. For this particular army. A couple more Jet Lines. The Jade Lines going for Fire Army, the Great Moonbirds going to the army that... Actually, where are the units for that particular army? Oh, these units. Alright, so you should also probably take them, but probably after the gate gets attacked. Actually, speaking of, you're going to need to switch to the Bastion Recovered, because everybody's damaged here, and you might have to as well, or the Bastion Restored, rather. Move into Turtle Gate, heal up. Tech Thief, move up here. You're kind of out of order now, and I started doing things out of order again. Well, what can you do? Alright, and also you definitely will need to go into Jiao Ming's army. You're one of the defenders, and I believe we got another one, though I haven't decided whether you're going to be in that particular army or another army. We do want to keep an eye on more defenders, though, potentially. Yeah, no defenders as yet, but they will come back up, I'm sure. Alchemists... Oh, Toxic Venom, yeah, but then we have to put them into melee, which is kind of still iffy, isn't it? Oh, I got a teacher here. That's great. Let's get you on field. I'm not entirely sure into which army, but I do want you on field immediately, just in case. Alright, back to doing things in order. Which apparently I pathologically can't do, or can't manage to do. Oh wow, lots of these rebels running around. I guess us raiding their territory is working out reasonably well. And Shao, you have taken the Volery, and, I guess Kolek is now moving towards you, so you probably will want to take Granite Spikes, but you'll also probably not want to take too much damage. We'll abandon the Volery. I'll want to fight Mr. Kolek. You can... I don't know if we can trust auto-resolving. I just might manually fight this super quick. Scholar, move out this way. Eventually we'll run out of places to, you know, thief tech from up here, because in theory all of those places should be gone shortly. Alright, we also need to upgrade everything at the gate. Well, you know what? Administrator Chen Sai is here. There's never going to be a better time. Let's go for Bastion Pagoda. And let's go for Bastion Command Tower. 8,000 gold, eh? Might as well. Oh, it's so ridiculously expensive. I mean, we're going to be here for a while yet. Maybe hold off on this. It is a bunch of stuff that we want. That hasn't changed, but we've got money that we need to spend for recruitment and for... Oh, right, we got to recruit for these guys as well. Alright, I'll try to remember to do that. But anyway, we got to recruit and we've got to build more money-making buildings. And also this. I assume that you're still not willing to trade this. Suryapuri, was it? Yes. 24.7. Yeah, that's not, it's not liable to happen unless we upgrade it, but hopefully we can do that before this guy upgrades that one, because if he does, then that'll just kind of screw it over anyway. Alright, well, back to doing things in order. I think this is the 4th time I'm attempting it. Also, you go this way. Alright, administrator's finding ways fine-ish. Just not doing anything, which is fine. Logistics. Okay, that's this logistics. You're fine for now until you actually serve the purpose of running around as logistics. Yuanbo, we're not declaring war on Mazdamundi yet. We'll give you your full army, but we can send Admiral out in order to gather stuff. So march stance or full speed stance right here and beside that Sea Corps. And I'm sure there's plenty of islands all over the place to gather up, so that's going to be your job. I forgot whether I moved the other admiral this turn or last turn, but I guess it doesn't. I guess we'll find out when we actually reach the other admiral. All right, so Yanbo, stay there, and you know what? You can just channel and maybe start moving this way. Although I guess if the you'll probably be out here for at least a few turns, so you can probably still go out to sea and get a little bit more XP. Why not? Go this way, grab this mysterious island, see what Mazdamundi is. Watch him declare war and attack you. See about some of these islands. Okay, I see one island here. I don't want him conquering territory or fighting until he gets his proper army, because he currently has units which we've already seen fight many a time, and we know they'll win. And it's just, I want other units to fight. Alright, you're good, and then Lan Hu. You're still here, and you still have to attack this. And then I guess you have to attack this as well. This one I think I'll just do between the episodes, because it feels like a waste of time. This, I would like to see, though. And Pyrrhic victory, medium casualties. Alright, this will be an actual proper fight. Let's get the Banner of Eternal Flame on the Righteous Lances of Wei Jin, maximize that fire damage. We'll grab the Standard of Wei Jin on you, and then I guess the leadership bonus on you. Doesn't really help, does it? But, well, those are the things we took. Too bad we can't give banners to the settlement. Anyway, let's see if we can pull this off. Go.
themselves. We cannot possibly lose.
Alrighty, here we go. You could lose if you tried harder. Anyway, the Jade Longma, the Righteous Lances, or Great Longma, Righteous Lances of Wei Jin are going to, well, be the deciding factor in this fight, I'm willing to bet. That's a lot of Nurglites out there. Though we do have magics as well, and a fairly decent position with our right flank being protected by this impassable terrain, the plateau, so we shall see. We have sent our unit of lanterns forth, and they're going to try their best to damage the enemy lord, at least a little bit, though unfortunately for us, Cloud of Flies means that the enemy lord will be healing, and probably healing almost, if not exactly as fast. Let's see here. Yeah, it heals almost as fast as the damage comes in from the single Sky Lantern. Which ain't great, but the entire Nurglite army has Cloud of Flies. The Beast of Nurgle have the regeneration abilities, so yeah, it looks like these Sky Lanterns won't be able to pull off anything in this particular battle, especially only a single Sky Lantern. If we had multiple, like we did, well, like we do in our other army, it would be a different story. However, I do notice that this Nurglite army did not bring any Plague Drones or anything like that, and if our flying army should face off against this once again, we know that the enemy army will get torn apart because they have no anti-air here, and especially with no plague bearers that are of the exalted variety. Though we do gotta be wary of those when they do arrive. Anyway, looks like the enemy army has finally drawn close. It's time for peasants and crossbows like to fire away, and the peasants are going to hopefully come in quite handy here as they do have that flammable and increased weakness to fire damage. Our crossbows, as you can see, are also dishing out fire damage, and all of our range units are, because our righteous lances of Wei Jin, at least for now, are going to hover right beside them and help them apply that extra, that flaming damage to all of the fire units, or fire units, all of the range units. Alright, the enemy continues approaching, and it looks like the enemy lord is now in range. All of our range units will switch to the enemy lord, with them being weakened by the flammable effect, and hopefully we can bring them down before they can cast too many spells. Besides, we can't have the righteous lances of Wei Jin hover up above together with the lanterns for too long. Alright, come on now. And it does look like the enemy lord will be brought down. The shield breaker from the lanterns, I'm sure, is helping nicely as well. Down goes the enemy lord, but the rest of the enemy army is moving in, though the slow-moving beasts of Nurgle are going to be next on the menu and will probably also take a fair bit of damage. The Dragon's Breath comes in and hits the enemy line, though it does look like the enemy did manage to get one up on us as a unit of Plague Toads gets around our army and smashes into the back line of those crossbows. That's alright though, the righteous lances of Wei Jin will hit those fragile Plague Toads with fire damage, and it looks like the Plague Toads will get torn to shreds like nobody's business and are almost destroyed already. Our left flank is where the biggest portion of the enemy is now concentrated, Plague Bearers and Plague Toads and Nurglings alike, so we're going to get a wall of wind and fire sort of through them without clipping too hard our own units, as they would obviously also be in danger from it. Alright, there we go, nice wall. Hopefully that did decent, but the enemies are still here in numbers, and we do still need to attempt to see them off. Plague Toads, rather, are broken over on the other side, and our righteous lances of Wei Jin are going to get ready to move on in and start attacking the Nurglites here. A little bit of a dark map, unfortunately, but it is what it is. At least the other maps weren't dark, and we got to see what was going on. And here comes another charge from those Longma. Lovely. Like the way their wings look. Almost like the, it's almost like, I don't know, like moth wings or something like that. You know, they're like sort of iridescent dust or something. But anyway, let's see. After that charge, the enemy army's balance of power is only at about 10% remaining, and it looks like the enemy's flank, their attempted flanking maneuver, is failing. We have switched all of our range units to attack this side, and they're focusing down the enemy Toads quite well, I should say. And just got to get the toxins that the Toads apply off field so that they can no longer damage our Jade Warriors. Besides, they are still relatively fragile. Our Dragon-Blooded Shuriken has done a great job anchoring this line, and surprisingly taking very little damage here. And I'm sure Earthblood helped. And just a little more work, and it looks like the last of the enemy Nurglites will be broken. Balance of power still hovering at about 10%. There is still another plague ridden out there. We're going to get a bow usage from our lord, and then follow that up with a nice fireball into the midst of the enemy army. There we are, nice. We did give her those items specifically to do that, and didn't find a better opportunity until now, mostly because she was needed as an anchor point, and couldn't quite find the time to back off. Probably should have actually put those on cooldown while the enemy army approached us, but, well, a little bit late for that now. Alright, one more Earthblood on the righteous lances of Wei Jin. It's now time to surround the Plague Bearers and the last Plague Ridden and bring the enemy down. Balance of power shifts to 100% in our favor, and it looks like the battle's ours. Very nice. And the damage isn't very severe either. I'm almost now wondering whether we could have won against the Norskins as well, but it was safer to do it this way, such that we didn't have to come back here and lose the territory. It worked. Alright, there we go. That went very, very well. The AI's attempt here got kind of screwed over by the fact that the Norskins were willing to peace out, and we were able to destroy these guys without really much damage or anything like that. We'll take the money.
They may live
We can't heal the garrison anyway. And I wonder how these guys will react. We should also immediately tell them to stop trespassing. Potion of Farsight we don't care about. You should be able to hunt this little army down. And I'm just going to hope that it doesn't do severe damage to the units here, because we'll still auto-resolve. Alright, let's hope that the Jade Longma didn't get damaged. No, the bandits did, and I don't think we care. Yeah, take the money. Alright, nice, and then a return. We'll see what these guys do next turn. They are suffering attrition due to not controlling a home region, and they're at peace without. So, what is the recourse for the AI here? Oh, the rating stance for Norskins doesn't make them immune to attrition, so they could potentially change stances. There is that. Anyway, folks, with that, I think we are out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. A little tiny battle here for granite spikes I will do between the episodes, because this is silly and a hilarious waste of time. And then next episode, more likely than not, as soon as we end the turn, Kolek will probably attack and shower. At least I expect him to do so. Even if he doesn't, we are moving towards the challenge stone, and we'll look to wipe out Kolek and get the short victory condition acquired next episode. Jiao Ming's or Yuan Bo's army will be complete next episode, most likely as well, including all of the compasses and his lions and all of that stuff, which should be pretty darn entertaining. I'd love to see what he can do with those, and I think the last time I played I didn't bother using compasses, so there is that. We'll also have to figure out what to do with this army. Definitely going to have to do something, but for now they'll just have to use what they've got, and they've got a fairly decently balanced force here, so I'm reasonably happy with that. We'll continue building up the peasants and cannons army. Jiao Ming will continue moving northward through the Grimgor territories and acquiring new territories for Imrik thereby. And then the same thing kind of up north, but we just need to max out Ningwei's army. So I'll working on all of that. Anyway, more Miao Ying to come. Stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine how long this campaign continues for. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.